All right, Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah. The honors to the elders. This GMS Wisconsin again, bringing you this lesson about the affirmative action, how the society basically flipped it, and now they're taking away your basic rights when it comes to college and the minorities being able to with equality, get into colleges.
Yeah. So this gonna be segment 3. Yeah. Yeah. So segment 3 is now, since you understand how the college system through the first 2 videos is a bunch of BS. Now we're gonna go into some history of how you even made it to those first 2 videos.
That's right.
The first one is called affirmative action. All Israelites should know what this means. If not, pay attention, especially if you got kids or if you in school.
All right, this is affirmative action. Wikipedia says, or positive discrimination. It says known as employment equality
Exactly.
in Canada.
See that? Because black's up there too.
It says
Where do you think Drake came from?
Right. It says reservation in India and positive action in the UK.
Right. So all they did is took affirmative action and remodeled it all over the world.
Right. And then they do that. Whatever policy. That's how you know this is a global. The new world order. All right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how you know it's global, and everybody's a global citizen now. All right. It says is the policy of providing special opportunities for and favoring members of a disadvantaged group who suffer from discrimination.
Exactly. That's the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans through a racism system that was first physically, then it became mental, institutionalized. So we had to bring in affirmative action.
It says the nature of positive discrimination policies varies from region to region. Some countries, such as India, use a quota system whereby a certain percentage of jobs or school vacancies must be set aside for members of a certain group.
That's how they have it here in America. And they got it like that for the jobs too.
It says in some other regions, specific quotas do not exist. Instead, members of minorities are given preference and selection processes. All right. So we have an article. Supreme Court upholds Michigan ban on affirmative action. All right. So Michigan basically banned affirmative action. We'll get into it. It says the Supreme Court on Tuesday upheld Michigan's ban on using race as a factor in college admissions. The justices said in a 6-2 ruling that Michigan voters had the right to change their state constitution to prohibit public colleges and universities from taking race into account in admission decisions.
Now they'll change the constitution for that.
It says the justices said that a lower federal court was wrong to set aside the change as discriminatory. Right. So basically what they're doing is now affirmative action is a double standard. It's and they flipped it on you. Now it's discriminating against other American citizens. Right.
Which are Chinese,
Right.
Japanese, Moab and Ammon, Africans, Hamites, East Indian Elam punk ass, Israel like the Arabs. Everybody except your stupid ass. Like they need some fucking help.
Right.
They own all the stores in our neighborhood, but it's reversed. Right. They get their first year here in this country and send their kids to school off living in our neighborhood, selling us that bad shit. Right. But it's discrimination. We're gonna stop giving all them goddamn jobs to them heathen in our goddamn neighborhood and open up them business. Maybe that's discrimination.
Right. So, and really what's happening is these so-called universities are only opening the seats to the more the rich, the more well-off people, so they can start paying those paying those tuitions that that the what that these poor people aren't able to pay. It says the High Court made clear that in ruling on uh, what's that, Chouette versus the Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, it was not deciding the larger question of whether affirmative action and mission policies are lawful. It says this case is not about how the debate about racial preferences should be resolved, wrote Justice Anthony M. Kennedy for the majority opinion. It is about who may resolve it. It says the justices rejected the argument made by civil rights groups that Michigan's constitutional amendment proposal 2, approved by voters in 2006, bearing college admissions decisions based on race imposed burdens on racial minorities in violation of the U.S. Constitution's equal protection guarantee. Says Kennedy, joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Samuel Alito, said that an appeals court that threw out the law did not have the authority to do so.
Right. So as you can see, Kennedy, and y'all love Kennedy. You black. Y'all love what's his name? Clinton. I don't know why, but y'all do. So let's see why Kennedy trying to take up real fast before we get to some of our people. This Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you have with Jake. They basically took your right, you blacks, Latins, and Native Americans,
Kennedy.
yeah, to actually get into college, because a lot of these jobs are career-based jobs now,
Exactly.
and you got to have the experience, all right? And that's the main thing they've been pushing on for these last 3-4 years, all right?
Yep, that's why they keep saying you got to go to these technical schools
Yep.
now. More of those. That's why when you driving your car, you listen to what's that? WGCI.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
10.
yeah.
I don't know shit.
100.7.
Okay, 100.7 in WGCI.
Right,
I don't know
right.
that shit. But they've been saying they got a skit where they had these two Jakes talking,
Yeah.
and the one Jake say, what he say, man, I'm getting tired of this or something. He said, man, I told you should have came with me and got that little technical degree.
Yeah.
Now I'm making $25 whatever. And the other Jay like, man, I gotta start doing that. But they interlude in like this brother's the brother saying that it's time for you to get a career-based degree, or you have to get some technical. This Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief.
Right, and that's mischief because the discriminate is basically it's still needed, because right now what you have right now with the universities is that, like I said, that they're not looking forward to put Jake in those seats, all right, because they're not paying their tuition, man. They defaulting on those loans, and the only people, yeah, and the only people that's really paying that is the Asians, because they got, like I said, they well off.
Right, paying backup reserve money, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall.
That's right.
What you just said. They know them Jakes ain't paying them tuition,
right?
And they glad about that.
Right, because they like, man, move these niggas out the way. They're a hindrance.
Yep.
We losing money.
Let's let them give us a reason to get rid of them and tax them at the same time. 2 for 1. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
Right, and that's us, man.
Yeah, the closer y'all world come to an end, the more and more we shine through the wisdom of Hashem Yahushua.
And now you got the white people complaining, which only proves what the brother's saying. You got white people complaining about it's discriminatory. You know, they can't
make it
right,
in their world.
Yeah, exactly.
So where you Jakes think y'all going then?
Right.
If whoever white woman, white man, white young kid can't make it, have no future in their land, what the hell y'all think y'all finna do?
All right. Back to the article. It says the dissenting votes came from two liberal members of court, Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. All right, Sotomayor wrote.
She is correct.
Right. She is, she's an Israelite, right?
Yeah, she is Israelite.
Right.
I mean, she's a part of the woman bohemian role,
Right.
but she still is Israelite. That's why she makes statements like what's going to be great.
Right. Nonetheless, it says that the decision, Sotomayor wrote that the decision was a blow to historically marginalized groups.
See, historically, right? That's why we did the history first.
Yeah.
And as you can see, they gave you some bullshit ass history with that affirmative action. By the way, I just want y'all to understand that too.
Yeah.
That affirmative action that was read on Wikipedia, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do at the end of all this, I'm gonna go to the library and research affirmative action in the years that they brung it through Martin Luther King.
Yeah, civil rights.
Right. Then I'm gonna bring it back to y'all. Oh, so it's gonna be a second version of affirmative action.
Right.
This ain't over.
Right. It says which rely on the federal courts to protect their constitutional rights.
Exactly.
It says the court undermined its own precedents.
Right. That's why I just read these two scriptures.
Right.
They undermine. But why did they undermine it? Proverbs 4:16. That they sought to cast him down. Who is he? The blacks, blacks, and Native Americans.
That's right.
That's why they doing this. They know this is for y'all.
Right, man. It said, and then that's how you know this is America's
Prison camp.
yeah, man, straight prison camp. It says which state that the majority cannot suppress minorities' right to participate in the political process. She added, Justice Antonin Scalia wrote on a separate opinion, joined by Justice Clarence Thomas. Props to Jake. It says yeah. It says in which he said that challenges to laws that rest on equal protection claims must show that the law reflects a discriminatory purpose.
Exactly. So what Clarence Thomas is saying, and he was what you call that,
Supreme Court Justice.
Right. He was one of those too.
Right.
He said, wait a minute. How could you reverse something when that law was made because of discrimination? You can't reverse something that's made as this was discriminatory, so we're making this. You can't flip that. That's basically what the man's saying. But guess what? It's in the power of their hand.
Yeah.
See that? Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When the morning is light, the legislative they write it to the judicial. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Clarence Thomas. That's why they did that.
Yeah.
This supposed to have been stopped easy.
Right. It says, joined by, I'll just read it again, joined by Justice Clarence Thomas. Hold on. I got to note that he wrote a separate opinion joined by Justice Clarence Thomas in which he said that challenges to laws that rest on equal protection claims must show that the law reflects a discriminatory purpose. The Michigan law did not, he said.
See that? The Michigan law did not. They cannot prove that that white Edomite was being discriminatory on. Why? Because we don't hold no spots. For you to get discriminated on, somebody got to be up at the top down to oppress you.
Right.
There's no blacks or Latins sitting up at the top. So how's this white woman being oppressed? That's, man.
No black, yeah.
Man, come on, man. Ain't no black people sitting up there at the top of these schools, man. Sitting on these boards making decisions on who coming in these colleges and who not. That's why Clarence Thomas hitting the nail on the hammer on the nail, man.
Right. It says Justice Stephen Breyer was the only member of the liberal wing of the court to join the majority. He wrote that the ban was constitutional because the prohibition gave voters, rather than university officials, the right to decide whether to adopt race-conscious admission policies. Justice.
Oh, so we're all one world order. There's no more race. Basically, that's the move they just pulled. They pulled a one world order move on you people. Just for y'all to understand. In front of all y'all face, too. Right in y'all face. You the only one saying something. We the only ones saying something though. They just pulled a race card in front of the whole world. I'm sorry, they just pulled one world order in front of everybody. And who the only people saying something? Great Millstone camps. That's it.
It says Justice Elena Kagan, who had worked on the case when she was Solicitor General, recused herself. It says Leticia Smith Evans, in, interim Director of Education Group at the NCAACP,
Right. Everybody weighing in something.
says Legal Defense and Educational Fund said Tuesday's decision wasn't a death knell for admissions policies that consider race. While this decision is set back for diversity's efforts in Michigan, it is important to note that this case did not address the merits of race conscious admissions. It says which had been previously upheld by the court. As the justices emphasized in today's ruling, Smith Evans said, says still the ruling was let down for those who had hoped to see it dismantled.
That's what I want.
Gaines.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I want.
This is Kevin Gaines, an African American studies professor at University of Michigan and one of the plaintiffs arguing for the removal of the ban. Expressed disappointment at the decision. It says, according to a statement released by the American Civil Liberties Union, Proposal 2 has meant less diversity in our universities, which has had a chilling effect on the quality of discourse in the classroom. Unfortunately, that that will continue, at least for the time being. And Michigan Gaines said, since the ban passed, the share of freshmen at the University of Michigan who identified as black has fallen 30%, prompting
already.
Prompting the Black Student Union in November to launch a social media campaign that trended nationally and spread to dozens of other major schools to highlight racial injustice on U.S. college campuses.
Yeah, and that's been going on big time too. It's been a lot of colleges being coming out. It's on Vice. You watch Vice, they actually got a lot of different segments of documentaries of open racism on colleges, campus.
It says the effort known by Pound BBUM, being black at University of Michigan, was so successful that members of the student union have met weekly with administration officials since releasing a list of demands in January to discuss ways of addressing both the plummeting enrollment figures and a range of challenges facing black students there.
Right. So don't come with us with this. Well, you guys don't know if it's going to be negative or not. It's already negative.
Right. It just showed you. He just
30%
gave you the facts.
already out of here.
Right. Just gave you the statistics. It says Mark Rosenbaum, a lawyer for the ACLU, who argued against the ban in the case, also criticized the decision. This case is ultimately, quote, it says this case is ultimately about whether students of color in Michigan are allowed to compete on the same playing field
Right.
as all other students.
All other students.
Right.
One race versus all other students.
Right.
And really ain't blacks. It's blacks, Latin, and
Native Americans, right.
It's just we the pinnacle
right.
of the hate, mindset
exactly.
that goes on to us.
Right.
That's why we happen to be Judah.
Right.
And
then white Edomites feel that way. That we open the floodgates for the Mexicans, the civil rights, we help. You know what I'm saying? Help their cause basically, so they can come in and get the equal rights as well.
Exactly.
It says today the Supreme Court said they are not. Rosenbaum said in a press release. In an interview with Al Jazeera, Rosenbaum said that the Supreme Court's decision allows for preferential treatment on the basis of whether a student's parents attended a school or donated money.
See that?
allowing the consideration of good fortune and privilege, but lets admissions officers ignore race as a factor.
Right. So, everybody know that, it's a get along and go along thing with these colleges. We proved that in the
A
first
hierarchy
document, the second
thing too.
with Gaddafi's son.
Yeah.
Now they done blew all his motherfucking fingers.
Right.
They let him go to school. He gave him 1.5 million, but they blew his goddamn fingers off at the end of the story.
Right. It says,
That's it.
yeah, okay.
Because it's just going into
Right. So that's what you got. These college universities are not uh, basically for the poor anymore. They want the students.
civil rights is over.
Right.
Civil
That's
rights
gonna pay.
movement is being killed. Like the one guy told us on our outside video. So how that Martin Luther King dream been holding up for you guys?
Right.
Remember he told us?
Yeah.
Which
Oh, no, that's the spirit of the world,
I
though.
wish we could find the motherfucker. I'll put that right on you at the end.
Yeah. It says leaders in higher education. Oh, I'm sorry. This is from NewYorkTimes.com. The article is U.S. colleges seek new paths to diversity after court ruling.
Right. Oh, but y'all think we was gonna throw y'all a problem out there, and I'll let y'all know how this crummy ass world trying to fix it. Here
Right.
you go, right here. Because they always want to have hope.
Yeah.
We finna kill hope.
Right.
Ain't no more motherfucking hope. It's all truth
Right.
and understanding and wisdom. So what? So you can understand what the fuck you supposed to be doing now.
That's right. It says leaders in higher education upset by Tuesday's Supreme Court decision upholding Michigan's ban on race-based preference in college admissions said the ruling would nudge them further along the path of finding alternative means to promote diversity in their student bodies. It says race. And then just to say this, I mean, right, exactly. It says uh, it says alternative means to promote diversity in their student bodies. It's like you couldn't get no more diversified with blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. All these other nations, they can come over here. They got privilege to basically almost anything they want.
What the fuck? Nigga, we can't go over to their shit.
Right, exactly.
They got what's called merging market. See?
Right.
See, that third world country shit is done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's done. You have now what's called merging market, and what else they call new economies, or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't need America for nothing.
No.
America needs them third world countries to set their corporations up,
Right.
and it's happening.
Yeah.
You just got to start watching CNN. That's all.
It says race remains a permissible element in admissions in states without such a ban, and many educators held the dissent by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, which emphasized the continuing significance of race. Still, they said affirmative action appeared to have a limited future.
So they knew they was gonna end that anyway.
Right, when they implemented.
Also, when they implemented, they knew that shit was gonna get cut immediately. That's why the other document said right away, as soon as they bring the law in, 30% already dropped off.
Right, exactly. So they already had those numbers provisioned. And come on, man, Esau world, man.
Esau giving deals. Yep.
All right. It says most of us have already started to look at other variables than race.
Okay, what y'all got then? Let's see what y'all got.
Right. Especially first generation students.
Oh wow.
And low income students.
Wow. That sounds like a welfare check.
Said Muriel Howard, president of the American Association of State Colleges and Universities.
And that's the best your so-called leaders can do, you blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. That's the best they can do to counter this shit.
It says in debates taking place in various parts of the country, many educators have argued that such methods produce diversity but far less effectively. It says the California Senate seeking to increase minority representation at state university campuses passed a bill this year that would have eliminated Proposition 209 that states 1996 ban on racial preferences. says the bill was backed by many Latinos, but opposed by many, Asian groups. Last month, the state assembly speaker sent it back to the Senate without taking any action. So you got these Asians over here that's basically opposing the racial preference law.
So they don't even want that.
Ban. Right. But the Latins over here that's getting oppressed and got their land taken away from them.
Right. What about that?
Right. And the Asians haven't got their land taken away from them, but they can go to somebody else's country who's been oppressed
and claim what the fuck they want.
Exactly.
And what they entitled to on the land.
That's right.
Man, hey, you know what? Look, okay.
Oh, here we go. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee."
Oh, man. Oh, see, y'all better be lucky we got these scriptures to keep us calm, because y'all see I'm ready to snap. But guess what that just did? Humble me back down, because now I understand. See, wisdom and knowledge shall be the strength of our salvation. Because I'm ready to punch the shit out of me a Chinese motherfucker. And the fucking Chinese crowd is hell too. Yeah, every time I get into it, it's always a fucking Chinese officer I get into it with. Right. 3 or 4 times I didn't get into it with Chinese officers. Okay.
All right. It says, Salaki, it says, "And thou shalt come down very low." Right.
What was scripture?
Deuteronomy 28:43.
23:43.
28:43. And these are one of the curses being played out.
See that? So prophecy. Prophesied on that. That's your run. Yeah, that's prophecy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It was written. Now it's happening. Now y'all understand what prophecy is.
Right.
You got some more on
that? It says, "He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him."
Right. See that? The Chinese give you loans. The Chinese give you shit out of their stores. You know niggas don't get them nothing. Yeah. And you don't stay in their neighborhoods, by the way.
Exactly. It says, "He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail."
There you go. Everybody go by us. Everybody. Get used to it.
All right. Verse 45, just read this. It says, "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee."
Yeah, they shall pursue. That's why they talking about your first generation. Yeah. They pursuing y'all ass.
It says, "And overtake thee."
And they overtook us.
"Till thou be destroyed."
And we have been destroyed. That's why we pulling out of this shit now. It's
It says, "Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God."
See, that's the point. Y'all want to do what this Bible say. Y'all watching this video and saying fuck us.
Yeah. It says, "To keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee." All right, back to the article. It says how minorities have fared in states with affirmative action bans, and obviously you can see the numbers plummeting. It says in states that have banned affirmative action in admissions, prominent public universities have tended to enroll fewer Black and Hispanic freshmen. So the numbers are plummeting, basically. Now I can click on the interactive graphic, but you can see it clearly.
I ain't doing that.
Right, you can see it clearly plummeting. It says this month, and what could become the next round of affirmative action litigation.
See that? We're gonna need another one already. It's happening so fast, they already get setting it up for another one. That's how fast the numbers drop.
It says the Virginia-based Project on Fair Representation set up websites featuring photos of Asian students in an attempt to find plaintiffs for race-based discrimination suits against Harvard, the University of North Carolina, and the University of Wisconsin.
Right here with us, y'all. Wait till we get outside Saturday. You motherfuckers in Milwaukee in trouble, and we got all kind of universities around us, y'all dumbass.
Right.
And then wonder why we get to laugh now. Mm-hmm. We was in y'all predicted. That's why the last segment video, which is gonna be like a 4-part, then 4th part, you're gonna be like, thank you. No, don't thank us. Thank our elders under the authority of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Yeah. That's what you can thank.
says Richard D. Kallenberg, a senior fellow at the Century Foundation, has argued that colleges can achieve diversity without considering race through such measures as admitting the top students from each high school in the state, taking family income into account, and ending preference for legacy students. Colleges don't want to do it because they'd rather assemble a class of wealthy students of all colors, he said. And yeah, that's what you got in America. After the recession, the shit, everybody became poor. And now you got the rich class and you got the poor class.
That's it. And it's all,
right.
It's one world, one order now.
So, right. So those who were getting discriminated against, who happen to be Black, Latin, and Native American, now they have these bans up to further push you in that hole and let the other nations rise above you. So you got that happening too. So I continue. It says some who support state bans on racial preferences said such prohi- uh, prohibitions might spread as a result of the Supreme Court decision. All
Yeah,
right.
it is gonna spread.
And yeah, that's the highest court in the land right now, the Supreme Court. All right. Should I keep reading?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. I got one. This Micah 7 and 8. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they rejoice in seeing them numbers.
And then they already look at you niggas as nothing any fucking way.
So that just went on and just put the stinger in there. Yeah. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy, when I fall. I shall arise when I sit in darkness. The Lord shall be a light unto me. I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Right? That's why we're doing these scriptures and got our truth. 10. Then she that is my enemy, because the black woman gonna keep going to that stupid shit. But Latin and Native American woman, all Israelite women, then she that is my enemy shall see it. What she gonna see? That we doing good, not going to them dumbass colleges, not having that debt, not having nobody intercept our taxes, not having nobody put a lien on my goddamn paycheck to intercept my money and so forth. No, I ain't gonna see none of that. Ain't gonna see me stressing around here. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, which gonna actually be us being delivered. And shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thou God? Right. So all you brothers out there who dealt with women and you left school and so forth and tried to, do the right thing under your hover shot and they talk shit, hey, we're gonna get the last laugh. So just bear your iniquity, like the scripture said at the top, until he what? Execute your judgment for you. So gird up thy loins like a man, and gird up thy mind like a man, thy loins of thy mind like a man,
right.
and endure hardship and keep moving. Which say unto me, where is the Lord thou God? My eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the street. So that's it right there. So all the people who talk against this, hey, that's them. Don't worry about leaving school.
All right, this is let me see. This is another article. It's from agjohnson.us. It says is affirmative action racist?
Yeah, so we'll show y'all new speech.
Right.
Double talk.
Okay, it says let me see. Because there's a thing out there right now, and we just mentioned the Asians. They feel like they've been discriminated against. And we just mentioned, we already know the history of America, how it was racist from its core up, you know, until now. So, with their double tongue and this new world order agenda, making everybody equal and no race basically being involved, they throw curveballs like this. It says, since affirmative action programs consider race as a factor in decisions such as hiring and college admissions, I often hear from whites who consider it to be a racist practice, especially given the state of the economy and the distress this has caused millions of people who are trying not only to get ahead, but often just to hold on to what they had. It's not surprising that many whites might feel this way, and so it's worth taking a look at. All right. So now we care what these so-called white people say. Computer won't act up. All right. It says so a place to begin is with the question of what affirmative action is and where it came from. It can be thought of as a response to two problems. First problem is that racial discrimination is alive and well in the United States, documented by abundant research. All right, especially in hiring, housing, and the financial industry.
Exactly.
These are
See,
true.
so it ain't like we just going through a school thing.
Right.
We going through hiring. We going through getting housing. I mean, places to live.
Right.
So we getting
Financial
basically
industries.
put in certain segments of the town, the city, or suburb you live in.
Society, yeah.
So you can't even get busing.
Right.
That's why the Edomites, the white folks, got that term called busing.
Right.
So if you blacks ever heard white people saying busing, that's a racist term, meaning are you bringing
Nobody ever stomped their foot and asked for less. Because what we all really want.
That's all that means. Ain't nothing to say. Right. So we always prevail through sin.
Right. When the going get good, Satan always comes. Anyway. It says says the first problem, Salakia. It says African Americans, for example, were systematically targeted for subprime mortgages.
See that?
Mortgages.
That's what I was talking about.
Mortgages,
that
yeah.
2010 collapse. I mean 2008.
Yeah.
With Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
That was our people was targeted from the 70s with Sister Sherry and working at Chrysler.
Yeah.
Because they knew they couldn't read them motherfucking contracts that was this thick to get their crib. Right. And they just told them, just sign it, just sign it, just sign it. You got a job. It's already approved. Right. The third party loan, don't worry about it, you're good. And not knowing that she had inflation to it. If you miss one payment, your payment go from 2% to 5%. You miss another payment, go to 9%. You can't afford that because it's going up. It's going up $150, $200 every time you miss. Wow. And it stays like that.
Right. Okay. It says.
I'm glad they bring that out on this document too.
Yeah. It got some more stuff. Reading to it. It says, for example, we're systematically targeted for subprime. And note the word subprime. That means under prime mortgage. It says regardless of income level, and they suffer devastating losses as a result, far greater than the white population.
Exactly. And see, that went understudied. That went unstudied.
Yeah.
God.
We show y'all that in
you mentioned the book.
Into Egypt again with ships.
Right, because y'all think we made that up. Matter of fact, we'll bring this document back up when we go into that. We're going to still read it, but we got, Jake, how you have a shot to it. He'll hit you 2-3 times.
Right, so you get it. All right, it says far greater than the white population. It says studies also show that job applications submitted by people whose resumes differ only in the name at the top are far more likely to result in job interviews if applicant's name is one typical of white people rather than the typical of African Americans or Latino, as Bob Jones versus Jamal Jones, for example.
Exactly, and that's why in these lessons we also have something about not being employed. That plays a factor in you going to school.
That's right, yeah. Hand in hand. It says, in addition, a great deal of racial discrimination is difficult to prove because the decisions involved are often subjective and not open to any kind of scrutiny.
Exactly.
It says, as when interviews form personal impressions of applicants, and the higher the position, the more subjective the decision becomes. Right.
So we ain't getting no higher up position. Right. Like I said, you don't sit on those school boards.
Right, and it just shows you how these basically with the whole name thing.
Let's do the second one. Let me say the second problem. And then we'll finish it.
Okay, all right. It says the second problem to which affirmative action responds is that discrimination against people of color and corresponding affirmative action in favor of whites have been going on for hundreds of years. This means that unearned white advantage is not simply a result of current practices, but has been accumulating across many generations.
Because we got to bring the book out. Now
Yeah,
we got to. I mean, when we're done, we got to go into that.
yeah, yeah.
Again, shit.
Watch what it say though. This is why I highlighted. It says the average net wealth of white households, for example, is now roughly 20 times that of African American and Latino households.
Exactly, cause through them credit cards. That's
Yeah,
how them crackers got it. Them Edomites got it from the strong ones of them funding all that credit card money to make their people rich.
yeah,
Cause they happen. I ain't gonna explain all that shit.
yeah.
Stay on this.
All right. It says which has a profound effect on things that, such as being able to send your children to college.
Exactly.
It-
Exactly.
Now, dig this. It says the situation is far worse for many Native Americans who continue to live on the impoverished reservations.
That's why I call them concentration camps.
Right,
I never call them a reservation.
right. It says into which they were forced more than a century ago.
Right. It was called boarding schools. Learn the history of your people and what people did to your people. It's called boarding schools. It's a documentary. Um, Save the boy, kill the Indian, or kill the Indian, save the boy. Save the man. Kill the Indian, save the man. Yep. Kill the Indian and save the man. And then they kill his heritage.
Yeah.
And bring that man through the fire as being converted into Edomite.
Right.
Who did they use? Booker T. Washington.
Yeah.
Or maybe we get the book on this shit.
Token nigga. Might be a Edom. But let me just read this last part. It says, so the question is, what to do in response to this?
Right. Right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to know that.
It says to simply say whites won't discriminate against people of color from now on. It said ignores the problem in which both its aspects. It said it ignores the implicit and unconscious nature of much racial discrimination and does nothing to overcome the cumulative effect of centuries of unearned white advantage.
Unearned.
Yeah.
They didn't earn their advantage that they got, cuz. That's why I said the Rothschilds gave them motherfuckers all them credit cards.
Yeah.
And gave their ass all them businesses. And then gave their ass these homes and these apartment buildings and told them to put us in these motherfuckers. And then gave them Section 8 to keep us in these motherfuckers. And then oppress us with the laws on if we park our car and and our friend come over, that Jacks get a $200 tow off.
Every aspect.
But then why we mad though? We always been asked why we mad though.
You guys don't have any jobs and you're mad.
Get your ass kicked. That's what's right. I'm done being mad.
Right.
Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression make a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. So you can't pay me off, so I'm gonna stay mad.
That's right.
I can't even take you goddamn shit. So not always mad. Shit. Not nothing else. But watch this though. That motherfucker, you kind of out of control. Bitch, you out of control.
Right.
Ephesians 4:26. Ephesians 4:26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Right. Neither give place to the devil. Right, because the devil be doing that shit. Mm-hmm. Trying to make us snap out and all that. From being outside and the lieutenant letting the black woman come and try to do her thing. Mm-hmm. To us sitting here and dealing with the landlords and lieutenants and police in our daily life. Shit. It always goes back to Satan trying to shift you.
Right. Trying to make you really snap. And,
Yep.
Snap somebody.
That's why I be easy. Okay.
All right. This is This is from the book Into Egypt Again with Ships by Elisha J. Israel. All right. It says a message to the forgotten Israelites, quote unquote African Americans. We just throw blacks in.
And you needed that.
I mean, yeah, Latinos and Native Americans also. It says the total. This is page 32. It says the total net worth of blacks is 1.2%. Says this figure has remained the same since the end of the Civil War in 1865. In 2002, African Americans' median net worth was $5,000, 998. All right. It says compared to 88,600, 551 for Caucasians. It says in addition, 32% of African Americans have a zero or negative net worth. That means y'all poor and y'all broke and you don't have a job. You make $5,000 a year working at, let me see, Walmart.
Yeah, that would make more than that, 10.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, exactly. 10.
12.
It says, it says, take for instance employment, which is the main factor. Right. It says, which is the main factor that determines a person's income. And income is the major generator of wealth and prosperity. In 2003, the unemployment population ratio for African Americans was 57.4%. This means that that of blacks ages 16 to 65, only 43%, 43.6% are employed. It's less than half. Right. It says in many of the nation's large metropolitan cities, the employment situation for African Americans is also bleak. All right. For example, in 2003, only 51% of New York City's black males were employed, while 75% of white men held jobs the same year. In addition to unemployment, blacks experience low rates of home ownership and a high degree of homelessness.
So nothing hasn't changed.
Not a bad thing. It says if current home ownership rates continue, it will take African Americans 5,423 years to achieve equality with whites.
That means never. That means never.
African Americans, damn, would have Earth been here for like 6,000 years.
Right.
It's
ain't gonna make it.
Right. It says African Americans also make up 42% of the nation's homeless population. What is happening to Black Americans coincides with what the Holy Scriptures reveal would happen to the true Israelites. All right.
So there go you some points right there out of the book, backing up what this document was saying. It's saying the same thing. A lot of y'all are not only seeing it, but you feel it.
That's right. So that ban once again, the ban of that affirmative action in preferred states, that's actually more oppression. All right. But we already know the school system is a bunch of bull crap. Unless you're going to a tech school to get you a career, get you another job for about in between 30,000 to 60,000 a year, depending on what you're doing.
And you better read that Luke 11:1, because that's gonna be your best read.
That's it.
That's the only thing gonna keep you settled. Like, okay, I'm just taking this.
All right. So we change gears a little bit. That's it on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're on GI here.
Yeah. Or non-consensual sex. Let's do the GI Bill. Yeah. Exactly. Jump to that, then jump back.
We'll do that. We'll do the speech.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. This is AmericaAlJazeera.com.
Right, because a lot of you Jakes, y'all going to the army.
Yeah.
And a lot of y'all Masters of Affirmative Action been cut. Y'all, they finna ship y'all to the army to fight. See, the war's ramping up. So guess what? They got something for your GI Bill. The college, the cash cow.
Okay, this is This was published on April 18th, 2014. It says profiteering off the GI Bill. It says how profit colleges target veterans as a lucrative funding stream, and they do that with mainly everybody. But it says the GI Bill passed in 1944 has played an important role in building the American middle class by giving millions of veterans a chance to attend college. It is a hollow reminder of policy making that promotes the public good. It says, but in its most recent incarnation, this piece of legislation has been vulnerable to abuses of the for profit education industry. Since the 2008 passage of the post 9/11 GI Bill, for profit colleges have increasingly recognized that federal funds for returning servicemen and women create a vast pool of money that they can tap into. These for profits, such as the University of Phoenix and DeVry University, they've been doing a lot of promoting with those in the last
Yeah,
few
those
years.
too. Yeah, 'cause they got
Yeah,
that money.
yeah. It says flood the mailboxes of returning veterans with brochures for their programs, and as Daniel Loser wrote last year in Washington Monthly, online for profit colleges do look pretty attractive for logistical reasons.
Right. You gotta go nowhere. You get a hassle of traveling. So they saying we save your gas. We save you rent in your car. You get to do more time with your kids. You get to spend time at home.
And it's
Still
the
do
new
school.
wave,
Still get a career. That's gonna boom.
and you in a new wave of what they call education, which a lot of people are taking on those, you know,
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like the brother saying, you're taking on it, and because of that, you also having simultaneously a war of information. So people
it's
are
true.
teaching themselves,
It's true,
and
yeah.
the world is warned against us Israelites. These great millstone camps that is bringing out this truth.
Yeah. It says for veterans who are adults with families and other responsibilities yet, while such programs promise high-paying jobs, their quality tends to be subpar. Too many veterans who enroll end up burdened with huge debts and poor employment prospects. Says this situation has created an urgent need for Washington to curb industry practices that treat veterans and, by extension, American taxpayers as little more than nicely fattened cash cows.
Right, so that word keep coming up. Maybe that's why the federal government took over student loans.
Right. You gotta pay them that debt back to those banks, those international banks. It says profitable loopholes. The current abuse of federal education funding for veterans was made possible by a loophole in 2008. Right after that crash, the AIG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They needed new ways of making money.
yeah. It says reauthorization of the GI Bill. Under that law, Congress greatly increased the amount of benefits for which eligible veterans could qualify. The new law also extended the term of benefits by 5 years, allowing veterans that much more time to go to school. Furthermore, benefits were made transferable to family members, meaning that veterans could now use them to pay tuition for a child or a spouse.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Ship the debt to your fucking kids. Wow. Got you to go to the war. You got something wrong, but you just ship it to your kid.
it says the act was popular as
Wow.
a way of both rewarding veterans and their service and boosting military recruitment. The New York Times called it the biggest expansion of the GI Bill in a quarter century. It says, but reauthorization also allowed for profit schools to take advantage of the expanded federal funding without expanded oversight. While other forms of federal education assistance, such as Perkins or Ford preferable rate loans and Pell Grants,
Mm-hmm.
include caps to prevent for-profit schools from being entirely funded by taxpayer dollars. The post 9/11 bill did not. The result is that for-profit siphon off resources that once flowed largely to public universities and community colleges. By 2012, a congressional investigation led by Senator Tom Harkin, Democrat Iowa, revealed that that a quarter of all federal financial aid dollars were going to two for-profit universities. It says, and 8 of 10 schools receiving most GI Bill funding were for profit. Harkin's report also revealed signs that these schools have been more concerned with making money than providing veterans with opportunities. Nearly a quarter, 22.7% of for-profit schools revenues were spent on veterans without opportunities. Nearly slacking on marketing, while nearly a fifth went to pay stockholders. Wow. The 30 schools the Harkin report examined devoted more money to pre-tax profits than they did to instruction for students. At the same time, over 85% of their income was coming from taxpayers. So, like I said, everything's for profit, really. So,
America.
read this last one.
No, that's
All right, so we have
Won't leave no stone untouched.
on
Now y'all,
current.
right? Yeah.
It's good.
And you might don't want to send your daughter to the college. Your daughter gonna get mad after you come and tell her about that. You trying to be about her safety.
Yeah.
Just make sure mom don't find out first, cause she gonna hide.
Right. So we're gonna switch the speed a little bit and showing you what's also going on in the colleges besides
All
the
over
GI.
the America.
Right.
This ain't just no couple of colleges going on everywhere.
Right. So you see how the hypocrisy keeps going. We went from affirmative action ban, to them profiteering on the GI Bill. Now it's to you women, the non-consensual sex.
College boys.
Right.
Rebranded rape. Like how you do that? I was like, okay, I gotta hear this.
Yeah. So
we got this and the video.
Right. So this is america.aljazeera.com. Non-consensual sex.
Right. They gonna get shit off CNN.
Right. How colleges rebranded rape. It says, why are hundreds of campuses now using the term non-consensual sex instead of rape or assault? All right.
If that's what it is.
And we can tell you right off the bat, but let's just read the article. It says this article refers to the term non-consensual sex as well as non-consensual sex intercourse and non-consensual sexual contact. It says Brett Sokolow originated the latter two terms. It says which are now used at hundreds of schools and often shorthanded in school reports and coll- colloquially as non-consensual sex. It says in subsequent communication, Sokolow made it clear that he objects to the term non-consensual sex without the modifiers because sex by definition is consensual. He said, while sexual intercourse, and sexual contact are not, which that's a lie anyway. Sex don't have to be consensual. All right. It says in an ideal world, we should call rape what it is. Sokolow explained. Says to water down the language a little bit to get more hearing panels to hold these guys accountable. I think it's worth the trade-off.
They're trying to keep you people from sending, trying to keep you people keep sending y'all kids there, so they got to switch the words so their school won't look bad.
Exactly. All right. It says around 15 years ago, Brett Sokolow was touring universities and advising them on how to deal with sexual assault on their campuses. On these visits, he noticed something strange. The schools had policies about rape and recognized that rape happened. But when it came down to it, they just didn't want to believe their own students actually raped. Said, I trained hundreds of hearing boards and listened to them get squeamish about it. It says Sokolow said the hearing board would say we're not willing to label this guy a rapist. Sokolow, the CEO of the consulting and law firm, the National Center of Higher Education Risk Management, decided colleges needed another word. But on the issue of sexual violence, almost every word is loaded.
Right, because it's bogus.
Yep. And then we know how Americans is. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
No
That's
matter
what I mean.
how.
Damn, these words loaded.
It says we tried out sexual abuse for a few years. Sokolow explained then the priest scandals in the Catholic Church captured the meaning of that.
Right, because it meant they thought they was gonna use it for men's raping women. Find out that the goddamn pedophile priest was raping the little boys. They
Right.
go with that. So they took that name over every motherfucking week. You was getting a new cardinal from a different district or country is
Right.
raping somebody. What he'll get do? Sent to another pasture.
That's right.
That's it.
And which only proves that you people are what they call that programmed.
Yeah.
You're programmed to certain key words and trigger words.
Yeah.
All right.
Sunday school. Oh,
Yeah.
holy righteous.
Yeah.
Knowing two little boys got raped last week though.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's the hypocrisy. It never ends with this American society. But like I said, a lot of you people are for it. But we're gonna keep bringing out this information and this truth to show you, without a reasonable doubt, that this is a damned society. All right. It says, so he came up with something new. It was a word that meant rape, but without rape stigma. Focus groups loved it.
See that focus, meaning think tank,
Yeah.
meaning agent provocateur,
Towards, yeah.
meaning the inside.
Right. And agenda pushes.
Right. They loved it.
It says universities were comfortable with it.
See that? See that? One more time, because they won't believe that.
Universities were comfortable with it.
Watch your daughter, because them little Beyonce booty shorts and them thick thighs looking real nice right now.
Right. So
they walking around everywhere like that.
Right. So if she get a little molested, a little touched on, they're gonna label him not sex offender. They're gonna say, oh, it was just consensual sex, not consensual sex.
Right. I mean, he didn't do anything.
Right.
Bust all in the mouth.
Right. Yeah. It says in the past 5 years, the term has exploded. Between 700 and 800 campuses have adopted this language in their policies.
Between 700 to 800 campuses. So see if your daughter campus is on the list, or
Pretty sure it is.
or your young boy you sent. He need to know too. Yeah.
It says non-consensual sex was born, and in the world of higher education, it has essentially become an industry standard. So that's the program. It says it's a crime. Non-consensual sex is sexual assault. Several schools make that clear. In Princeton University policy, for example, Sluggy, next to the category non-consensual sexual penetration, uh, it states that parentheses that the act is commonly referred to as rape, and next to non-consensual sexual contact is that is I mean, Sluggy, the act is commonly referred to as sexual assault. But the reason that hearing boards winced at the word rape is the exact reason activists think the term is important. It's violent and powerful and does justice to the violation that victims experience. Anti-rape campaigners have pressed their communities to understand what rape is and how much it happens many see non-consensual sex as a harmful euphemism. All right. Okay. It says select it.
I was looking at the date. We might have 5-4. I got the 16 on the
Oh. So euphemism.
Say it too.
Euphemism. 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 Yeah.
Just press the
All right. It says a mild euphemism is a noun, a mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So, uh, we know you Americans are what emotional super freaks. So, you know,
So they really got to use that euphemism on y'all.
right. So,
That's it.
okay.
That was it.
Then the video.
Yep. The video right behind it. Back it up so
Right.
we don't make nothing up. See, this is everywhere. You just got to get off Cartoon Network and stay from bullshit and all that.
We have done a lot on campus sexual assault on this show, and one thing that struck me in reading your article on the Brown case was that there is no obligation to report this to law enforcement.
I think that's what's lost on many people regarding this. People think that if you hear about a crime, if you report a crime to your college, that the school has to go to police because that's what makes sense, frankly. But unless the state that you're in requires felonies to be reported to police, then schools don't have an obligation, certainly not under Title IX and not under the Clery Act, which are the two main laws that relate to this, as you know.
And in the piece, you mentioned that there's just no way a murder would be treated this way. So a sexual assault, which is a significant felony, is just not being treated in the same way as other felonies.
Right. I mean, you wouldn't have a med student do an autopsy and think that that was okay. But frankly, that's sort of what's happening with cases of sexual assault. You have students, students sit on the panel at a hearing, and there's a weird investigation process where there's no rape kit done in most cases. It's not how we think of a real investigation being done, unfortunately, and victims are suffering because of it, and so are the accused in many cases.
And what do you argue, that people should have the right to tell this, to report it to the college and then say, well, I don't want it reported to police, but that there should be, that maybe the victim can opt out from reporting it to police, but that certainly the college should have an affirmative obligation unless the victim opts out?
I think what's become most clear to me in my reporting on this issue is that it's necessary for victims to be told in the beginning when they first get to school, before they're victims, when you first get to college, you need to tell students that they have the option to go to police to report a crime like this. Because no matter what, you're just not going to get real justice through a university system.
The flip side of it, of course, is that the accused does face some serious consequences. And to be devil's advocate, if somebody does, and there are false accusations of sexual assault and rape, I'm sure they're the minority, but, and I'm not saying certainly that that's the case here, but if that happens, that person can suffer tremendously too and have tremendous consequences. So I guess the question is, should it simply always go to law enforcement so there is a fair airing out of these of the issues in any particular case?
Yeah, I think to your point about the accused, they cannot be found guilty of rape in the university system, but a lot of people that are being found guilty of sexual misconduct are being called rapists. And it's not fair to the accused to be called that name having not been found guilty of that crime. So I think that the only answer, as far as I see it, is for universities to do their job under Title IX, under the Clery Act, but to make sure that students know that if they really do want justice, they need to go to law enforcement.
Right. So there you hear.
There you go, hearing from the Edomite devil herself. Gotta ask, rape in school, what's the procedure? School got their own laws, their own way of dealing with the system, and they don't have to report it to the police. And they need to be telling the kids that when they come to the school, or the parents need to be actually reading these schools documents and laws and bylaws that they have. Let the parents, they've been dumped down not to read because they too busy going to the bar, and the kids is just playing with their friends. So, sucks to be y'all. Okay, we just got downstairs. We gonna go over this. We just do now how they run is at the end. Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of y'all go to the schools to become basketball players, football players, and hockey players, and tennis players, and crossfitting, and long distance runners. Y'all plan on being in the Olympics. You plan on being boxers. Yeah. You plan on doing all those things. I said, baby, yeah. Yeah, so that's why when this guy came on here and Donald Sterling, and he told you blacks that, I make y'all money, I make y'all riches, I buy y'all houses. I come from a culture in the world that we don't walk with black people, we don't talk to black people, we don't deal with black people unless it's in a business setting. He meant that. Yeah, he played out.
Direct deposit would enable you to make financial decisions knowing what I have and what's going to be there. American Express serves a full-service prepaid account that gives you same-day access to your paycheck. This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
Old school. What's his name?
Honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The short and the point guard used to be called back in Jordan. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, see, I got to bring this up before we start this. I wish I could find this clip, but I never looked for it. Isaiah Thomas bluntly said, because he used to be president of the Players Association, and he used to be the president of it. And he bluntly said that, what's the guy's name who played on that team, the point guard? Because he that position now. Right. Yeah, we don't watch basketball. Yeah, I don't watch. You got Blake Griffin and you got the guy. Chris Paul. Chris Paul. He basically said Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, y'all missed y'all mark. Y'all missed y'all opportunity. Y'all had all rights, and it's a clause in y'all contract that y'all could have actually walked out and said, I quit playing for him. Right. And that man would have had to sell his team within 2 days. Because they would have lost hundreds of millions of dollars within those 2-3 days, the man gone. They had all opportunity to take full advantage of this situation when he said what he said. So, like he said, y'all missed y'all mark. Y'all sat on y'all hands. Y'all a bunch of slaves. Yeah, exactly, man. Y'all a bunch of fucking. Y'all, it's sad to even see the shit, man. But that's Jake, man. You can't put this shit in the world, yeah, man. Okay, yeah, because they think that. Right.
I wish I could change the skin, the color of my skin, but issue. What's the issue? The issue is we don't have to broadcast. I'm not broadcasting anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
Action was very necessary.
Exactly. Because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. If you ever have any issues, because people call you and tell you things about me that I'm not broadcasting. I'm not broadcasting anything. Pictures with minorities. Why? What's wrong with minorities? What's wrong with greatmillstone? Nothing. What's wrong with you? It's talking to an enemy. There's nothing wrong with minorities. They're fabulous. Fabulous. Because you're an enemy to me. Why?
Why? Because she deal with.
Because you don't understand.
Because to us,
I don't understand what. Like racism steals a lot. No, there's a culture. White people steal certain things. The suckers steal certain things towards blacks.
That's why.
Blacks steal certain things towards other groups. It's been that way historically, and it will always be that way. But it's not that way in my heart and in my mind. But maybe you want to adjust to the world.
Exactly.
But why? If the world isn't doing anything for me, they don't make me happy. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue. I can't be racist in my heart. And that's good. I'm living in a culture, and I have to live within the culture. So that's the way it is. That's all. I got it. I got the whole message. You live with your heart. You can't be flexible. You can. I'm flexible. I understand that that's the way you were raised and that's your culture. And I'm respectful. Why do you have to disrespect them? Those that are. Who am I disrespecting? The world before you. Why am I disrespecting them? By walking, you perceive as either a Latina or a white girl. Why should you be walking publicly with black people? Why? Is there a benefit to you? Is there a benefit to me? Does it matter if they're white or blue or yellow? I guess that you don't know that. Maybe you're stupid. Maybe you don't know what people say to you. It does matter, yeah. It matters. Do you know that I'm mixed? No, I don't know. You know that I'm mixed. You told me you were going to remove those. You said, yes, I understand you. I mean, you change from day to day. Wow. So painful. Wow. People call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram, and it bothers you. Yeah, it bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associated with black people. You have to. You associate with black people. I'm not you and you're not me. You're supposed to be a delicate white or a delicate Latina girl. I'm a mixed girl. Okay. Well, and you're in love with me. And I'm black and Mexican, whether you like it or not, whether the world accepts it or not. And you're asking me to remove something that's part of me and in my bloodstream because the world thinks different of me and you're afraid of what they're going to think because of your upbringing. You want me to have hate towards black people? I don't want you to have hate. That's what people do. They turn things around. I want you to love them privately. In your whole life, every day you can be with them. Every single day of your life. But they're not in public. So why publicize it on the Instagram and why bring it to my games? Why bring the black people to the game? I really don't want to discuss that anymore. It's over. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I feel that way so strongly. And it may cause our relationship to just break apart. And if it does, it does. It's better to break apart now than to break apart later. I'm sorry that you still have people around you that are full of racism and hate in their heart. I'm sorry that you're still racist in your heart. I'm sorry that you live in a world that's still... How about your whole life? Every day. You could do whatever you want. You could sleep with them, you could bring them in, you could do whatever you want. The little I asked you is not to promote it on that and not to bring it to my games. I don't bring anyone to the game. Okay, then. There's nothing to argue about. I know. Okay, we got a big problem here. I really don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like going to Europe. I don't feel like just going to the other thing. We gotta create. Even like someone that I was touching a person. I'm sorry, I don't have any more friends. What would you like me to do? Remove the skin color out of my skin? Is that a real issue, or are you making something up? I just don't understand what the issue is. There's nothing wrong with you or your skin color. Why are you saying these things? To upset me? Sweetie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, too. We made a giant mistake, both of us. Everything you say to me is so painful. Do I want you to change the color of your skin? You know how to really hurt somebody. Instead of saying, I understand. I don't understand how you can have so much hate towards minorities. I don't have any hate on nothing. I cannot understand. Why would you say that? How a person like you who's elevated, who's here, still feels above the world, and you can't even be seen with someone in which is considered of a different state.
They can be with me all day long and all night long.
I can't believe that a man who's educated, a man who's a scholar, a man
Well,
who's
police can stop talking about it. Let's finish our discussion of the period, okay? You're not making any good points. You can't believe this man. That's all I am. I'm not a good person in your eyes. If I was a good person, you would say, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. It's all lies. I love this.
Look at all the negativity coming from
There's no negativity. I love everybody. I'm just saying, in your lousy Instagram, you don't have to have yourself with walking with black people. You don't have to. If you want to, do it.
If it's white people, it's okay. If it was Larry Bird, would it have made a difference?
You're just a big fighter. I could see who would want to live with a woman like you. Who would want to live with a woman? All you ever wanted to do was fight. You're a born fighter.
I'm sorry that you're mad.
You're the worst mouth.
Why are you so angry, honey? What's wrong?
Why don't you bring up Larry Bird? What has he got to do with it? You can walk all night long with your sisters or your family.
I saw someone I admire Magic Johnson.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's made a lot of changes for his community, for the world, for the people, for the minorities. He's helped a lot of people.
Why are you forcing yourself my throat? I'm finished talking to you. I have nothing more to say.
And there's just a picture with someone I admire.
Good.
And he happens to be black, and I'm sorry.
I think it's not that you admire him. I know him well, and he should be admired. And I'm just saying that it's too bad you can't admire him privately and during your entire life, your whole life, admire him. Bring him here, feed him, him. I don't care. You can do anything. But don't put him on an Instagram for the world has to see so they can call me. And don't bring him into my days, okay?
I've never thought. I don't know him personally.
Please leave me alone. Please, please.
I'm sorry. Is there anything that I can do to make you feel better?
No, you could never make me feel better. You're just a fighter, you.
Yeah, so as you can see, he just went in and he just kept going. But while we playing this, what does this have to do with college? Who do you think those angel investors are? Who do you think the man that set up these colleges and put that money in these ventures to make more money? Now you see why they don't mind the rules being established and set up at the colleges the way they are. It's the real society you Americans live in.
I know everybody can get along in society. We're all diverse. That's a lie. Because it says Martin Keith defense demonstrating state.
It's the first one. It's the one with them two, but he actually made a play. The white dude right there. But they don't have no third party person.
Yeah, it's gonna show. It's gonna show. It's like for the technical difficulty.
You know, had all weekend to think about this. You know, the first instinct that came to my mind was, okay, this is obviously disturbing, it's disgusting, it's very unfortunate.
But I must admit to you, Skip Bayless, I kind of had a smile on my face. Because I also was not surprised.
Look at the black woman.
And I wasn't surprised because I remember one time I was in the Staples Center a couple of years back, and believe it or not, Donald Sterling always comes up to me when he sees me at the games for the Clippers, and he says, I'm such a fan of your work, I just love your work, and blah, blah, and I appreciated the compliments and the kind words. And my man Baron Davis, who used to play for the Clippers, pulled me to the side one day and said, do you know this man's history? Do you know what he's... Because I had no idea. I had no clue. And then you look up and you see racial discrimination lawsuits, you see the Department of Justice involved, you see a $2.17 million settlement that he had to dole out because of his transgressions, refusing to rent to black and Hispanic families. And I said to myself, you know, okay, we got this. We see what it is right now and understand what's going on here. Clearly, based on a lawsuit the wife has filed against the woman that he supposedly, allegedly was having a relationship with on the side. Yep. You know, we understand he was messing with the girl. He was talking to her, and he was clearly offended that she was in the company and publicizing friendships, relationships, or whatever the case may be with black people. That part did not surprise me one bit, that Donald Sterling would feel that way. What resonated with me, however, is when he talked about how even Magic Johnson, and then he said because she threw in the Larry Bird comparison, and he brought up Magic Johnson as well, she brought up Magic Johnson, and he said, I don't mind you hanging out, you do whatever you want to do, just don't publicize it and don't bring him to my games. And obviously we heard on the tape him continuously alluding to black people. Why are you around black people? What does that do for you? Etc., etc. And if you listen to the tape, it resonates so profoundly because it speaks to ultimately the fears, the emotions, the ire, and the vitriol that continuously emanates from the black community. When we say, you really don't like us, you really don't want us around, you really want us to stay in our place. And Donald Sterling exemplified and illuminated that better than anybody could have hoped to. Because basically what he is saying is, I have no problem with black people so long as they're in a subservient position. I have no problem with black people whatsoever, as long as they stay in their place. I don't want them on with me. I don't want them on my level. So if you're having a relationship on the side with some young honey,
And by the way, she's black and Mexican.
but he didn't know she was black.
I guess that was news to him.
He didn't know about the black part. He knew about the Mexican part. He didn't know about the black part. But even then, considering some of the stuff that he's articulated in the past about blacks and Mexicans, it don't really matter because he seemed to have a problem with anybody who wasn't white. But what America needs to understand is that the uproar emanates from the fact, it's like an aha moment. See, I've been telling y'all moment. Because what Donald Sterling displayed, allegedly, assuming it's his voice, which they're still checking with the league, what he displayed ultimately substantiated the fears of an entire nation of black people. When we say, this is how a lot of folks feel about us who are not black. We're fine as long as we stay in our place. And what makes this egregious, and I have more to say, but I want to give it to you, Skip, but what makes this egregious is that the NBA is 80% black. You have a team that's more than 80% black. You have a head coach who is now also in control of basketball operations who is black. You have no problem saying these things because they're making you money, but you don't really want them around. They're basically labor to you. It's been validated. It's been substantiated forever. He has to go. He cannot be an owner in the NBA. Commissioner Silver, the NBA owners do not have the power to just strip him of ownership. They can only fine him $1 million. They can suspend him possibly indefinitely. What they need to do is stand up and galvanize America by sending a simple message. We don't want this man as a part of our NBA community. Can you help him get rid of us? Because the NBA's constitutional bylaws don't allow us to do that. We need to stand up. And they need to stand up and say, could you help us get rid of this man? Because that ain't us. We want no part of this man. That's what has to happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. And by the way, debaters, if it doesn't happen by this time tomorrow morning, I'm going to have something more to say tomorrow. It had better. The NBA owners and Commissioner Adam Silver, they need 24 hours. This should be done by then.
Yeah, so as you can see, Jake on his high horse, letting Esau know. That's how you know Esau losing his power. Having to hear that and go through that, and you're a billionaire. And this guy just a talk show host. Talk to you like that. And he commentate on a league that you own the team in, but that's how he talk to you. So Esau's losing his power. And they confirm this the Esau world, and he don't deal with us.
Yep.
Racism is still here.
Alive and well. So with that, we're just gonna close it out by saying Yahweh Al Shai Barakatham, double honors to the elders, and shalom to the Akim that's out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. This is GMS Wisconsin with another lesson, and we'll see you brothers on the highways about it. Shalom.